Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about Eddington. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. So, this movie was made by Ari Aster. So, let's talk about him. This man has made some interesting movies. I'll say that. Um, Technically, his first movie was The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, which was on YouTube. I didn't know he directed that movie for like the longest time, and when I found out, I was like, "Oh, okay then." That certainly explains some things, but that was like a short film on YouTube. But his actual first theatrical movie, that was Hereditary, the little movie that came out in 2018. That even though it was like it didn't really set the world on fire. It wasn't like this big old blockbuster or anything, but it was a small movie that got quite a bit of attention because one, the trailers were just amazing, and two, the movie was like widely acclaimed critically, but the audience reaction was a whole nother story. I think it got like a D or something from Cinema Score, but that was mainly because of a marketing thing, not really because of the quality of the movie. Because that happens sometimes. Marketing shows you one thing, movie shows you another, and people were just not prepared for what this movie had to offer. I mean, I wasn't even really prepared when I watched it. Is when I did with a friend. Um, there was like a part of the movie because a character death. I'm gonna be very vague as possible. Character death happened. I was shocked, legit shocked. I was like, oh my god! I had my hand to my mouth, like that level of shock. And it takes a bit for it takes some real effort to get that reaction out of me. So yeah, but Hereditary is still a good flick, and it was A24's like biggest movie for years until Everything Everywhere All at Once came out. So yeah, you had Hereditary, and then 1 year later, this man decided, you know what? My movies aren't weird enough. Let's make Midsommar. Yeah, which didn't do as well as Hereditary, but still did decent on its own. And it was still a similar reaction where it was positively reviewed, but the audience reaction was less so, although it was still a bit more positive in comparison to Hereditary. But yeah, well, I remember seeing Midsommar. That shit was straight nightmare fuel. Maybe never want to go to Sweden ever. So yeah, yeah. So those his first two movies. Then he made Bow. It's Bow, right? I'm pretty sure that's how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Bow is Afraid. I never seen this one, so I can't comment on the quality. But this is like his only real miss so far when it comes like box office wise. And I heard it's just a really weird movie. So yeah, I mean I don't know what to say, but the movie didn't do very well financially. But still, I mean to have Hereditary and Midsommar to your name, I mean that's a good thing. Shows that you got that indie crowd on your side. You got that hipster crowd on your side. So yeah, and Death Stranding. What? I know there's a Death Stranding movie in development from A24, as well as an Elden Ring movie, which is so weird to think about. But um, I need to look it up. Like, okay, so man is a producer for the Death Stranding movie. Okay, okay. Yeah, it's just weird we're getting a Death Stranding movie. It's just very odd. But yeah, Ari Aster, I say his name is a pro for the most part, so I'm just gonna label his name as a pro. Another pro is the cast. We got quite a few big names here. Our main man being Joaquin Phoenix. So yeah, well, mainly, uh, lost my train of thought. I'm just gonna, cherry pick the important movies here. The main one, Gladiator, obviously. There's that. Signs. I don't know about Parenthood. I don't think he had a big role in that, but Gladiator, Signs, Village, Ladder 49, I guess. Walk the Line, where he portrayed Johnny Cash. I don't think he won the Oscar for that one. I think that was Reese Witherspoon. She won the Oscar. Is that is Her, a movie that's become very relevant now compared to when it released like in 2014. Then Joker, where he did win the Oscar for Best Actor. And then there's Napoleon, and then Joker 2, a movie I don't want to talk about ever again. I'm pretty sure you all know why that is, because eh. But people know who Joaquin Phoenix is, like duh. Like that's a given. And then Pedro Pascal. I could talk about this man for the second time this summer. And guess what? I get to talk about him again next week with Fantastic Four as Mr. Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, Pedro. This man is everywhere these days. I don't know how he does it. Must have an insane work ethic because he's seemingly just in all media. Literally, he's in 3 movies this summer. Not to mention he was in The Last of Us just a few months ago. So, and that's not even all. Like at first he was like a background player, like a supporting actor type guy. And then he was cast in The Mandalorian as the Mandalorian, and then everything changed. Then he was Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 1984. Then there's Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, a movie that I think is pretty underrated. Didn't do well though, which is a shame. Driveway Dolls, nobody watched that. He voiced Fink the Fox in Wild Robot. He was in Gladiator 2. He was in Materialist. And again, it's going to be in Fantastic Four and Avengers Doomsday. So, yeah. People know damn well who Pedro Pascal is, definitely nowadays, because, again, he's in every bit of media. So, yeah, he has like ultimate exposure. Yeah. So, yeah, those are like our main 2 people here. But we got 2 other notable names. We got Austin Butler, Elvis here, who literally, I think he had to get like an acting coach just to get rid of the Elvis accent. It was like the spirit of Elvis like was controlling him, and he needed to like expel that spirit, which I find really funny. But yeah, this man, he was Elvis in the Elvis biopic. He was in Doom Part 2. Aliens in the Ad. That is a movie would be amazed if anyone remember that. I didn't even know he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I had no idea. Wow. Okay. And I'm going to be seeing him like later this summer with Caught Stealing from Darren Aronofsky. I saw the trailer for that, and I'm just like, there's no way Darren Aronofsky made this. It feels like so far outside his wheelhouse. But then again, Darren Aronofsky can like jump between genres, so maybe isn't quite out of his wheelhouse, but it was still kind of odd. Yeah, people know who Austin Butler is. He has plenty of exposure. Uh, and then we got Emma Stone. Yeah, Emma Stone. She's been around for a minute. She's won 2 Oscars. Yeah, I think she's won 2 Oscars. But, I remember her from Superbad way back in '07. It's like that. There's like House Bunnies, Zombieland, an absolute classic of a movie. Marmaduke. She must have been a voice in Marmaduke. Easy A, that's a great movie. Friends with I think she was just like cameo, and then there's Crazy Stupid Love, then The Help, then Amazing Spider-Man, where she was Gwen Stacy, then Amazing Spider-Man 2, she voiced in The Croods. There's Birdman, La La Land, that was her first Oscar. The Favorite, Zombieland Double Tap, Cruella, which I'm gonna give that a pass because of circumstances. Then Poor Things, where she won her second Oscar, and that's where we are right now. So yeah, she definitely has quite a few hits under her belt. She's very well known. So yeah, and so we got some well known people up in here. I don't know about everybody else, but those are like our main four, our primary four. So yeah, the cast, I'll label them as a pro. Another pro, I guess, is that reviews are good, although they're like really close to mid. It's at 67% critic score. The audience score is identical, pretty much, at 66%. And the cinema score is a C plus. Honestly, the audience reaction is a lot better than what I anticipated. I thought this movie would just get slammed because of what it was about, and people would just be like feeling like ugh, like feeling a certain way towards it. But it is a lot more positive than I imagined, even if it's still technically middling, it's a bit divisive, but not like ultra divisive. I mean, that C plus, it's better than Hereditary, which yeah, that got a D plus. Midsommar got also a C plus, so it's on par with Midsommar in terms of audience reaction. But yeah, I guess review wise, it's a pro. Audience reaction is a con, kinda, but it's not as bad as it could be. So there's that. Um, I guess another pro, A24, to talk about them. Yeah, this movie is definitely on brand for A24. A24, I mentioned them a lot. They're known for releasing just movies that the big studios just wouldn't. They wouldn't even go near. But A24, they're willing to do it, and they made a lot of successful movies in terms of like both awards and box office. Movies like Everything Ever All at Once and Civil War, Uncut Gems, Lady Bird, Hereditary, Talk to Me, Iron Claw, Moonlight, like a Baby Girl, I guess. Materialist. I don't know why it's not on here, but whatever. um, what else? There's Heretic, The Witch, Ex Machina. Yeah, just quite a lot of well received small flicks. They've been struggling a bit this year. It's been a bit of a struggle, but they did have a hit in the form of Materialist last month. It was able to break their little losing streak. So I don't think this. I feel like this is gonna bring them back to said losing streak in terms of box office. But I guess the A24 name is still a pro at this point, unless something like goes like things go like real south. But they got those Death Stranding and Elden Ring movies on the way, so we'll see if that changes like their box office. I guess another pro is that there is no direct competition for this movie at all. This movie's in a league of its own. I mean, if you want like an escape from like big blockbuster movies like Jurassic World and Superman, stuff like that, this is the movie for you. Like if you want something different, you want something that's just not, super mainstream, this is it. So, and there's definitely an audience out there who like movies like this. I'm part of that audience. So, yeah. Yeah, the lack of direct competition, I'll label that as a pro. And I think that's it with pros. Okay, cons. The big thing I think that's gonna prevent this movie from reaching like a bigger audience is the subject matter. You see, this movie takes place in 2020, 5 years ago, in like May of 2020, so summer 2020, where, as you know, COVID-19 was the biggest thing. The pandemic was like in its infancy. Everyone was in lockdown mode. Everyone had to wear masks, 6 feet apart. You all know what happened. I know I was there for it. It was a very strange, unprecedented time for everybody. Like, and a lot of shit was going down at that time, with panic and fear and confusion surrounding like COVID, people buying like all the toilet paper, people thinking that Corona beer was responsible for the coronavirus, people thinking about the 5G towers were causing this shit. And of course, like tragically, like in late May, George Floyd's tragic death, pure just police brutality there, and all the riots and protests surrounding that. It was not a great time, really. It's a time that I don't like looking back on, but I know what happened. And this movie, is basically a snapshot of that, except, it's in a fictional town in like Eddington, New Mexico. And I just seen the movie, and this movie is like very blunt, like it's very realistic, almost to a scary degree. So when it comes to how things were, it don't even get me started on like the online circles, shit that was going on there. Like I literally had to stop. I remember being on Twitter like all the time, like scrolling and shit. I had to stop doing that because shit that was going on with the protests, it gave me so much anxiety that I'm just like, okay, this is not good for me. I need to just get away from Twitter. And I did. And that was the best thing I could have done. So, yeah, not exactly the best memories, and I know people don't have don't have great memories of that either. And I'm not sure if they want to relive said memories via this movie. And then there's also the fact that, oh, making a movie about COVID like this soon, like it's only been 5 years. But keep in mind, there were two 9/11 movies in 2006, and 9/11 haven't even reached like its fifth anniversary yet. Those movies came out before that. So, I don't think it's like too soon. Like, if, again, two 9/11 movies in 2006, 5 years after 9/11. So I don't think it's too soon. It's literally the same amount of time. But yeah, I think the subject matter will prevent it from reaching a wider audience. So that's a con. Another con is its preview numbers, 625K. I wasn't expecting this to have like a big preview night, but still seems like rather low. I'm not sure what I can really compare this. I guess Death of a Unicorn. I know that's an A24 movie, but I guess I can compare it to that. Kinda. How did that do? 700K, and that only opened with like 5 million. So that's not a great sign. But yeah, its preview numbers are not great. So I'll label that as a con. Um, I think that's it. Well, I guess I can mention next week you got Fantastic Four, and that should make big money. Tracking wise, it's look like it's going to make big money, but tracking can be very volatile. So I don't know. We'll see if that movie can maintain momentum, but it's still gonna hurt this. So yeah, I guess big upcoming blockbuster next week, also starring Pedro Pascal. I will label that as a con, and I think that's it. So opening weekend, early numbers I've seen, this is projected to hit like 4.5 million opening weekend. I think that's about right. So I'm gonna go between 4 to 5 million opening weekend as total. I don't think its legs are gonna be that good. I don't know, maybe like 10 million plus. I'm gonna go with that. 10 million plus. And that's it. So that was Eddington. Now we get to talk about two reboots slash revivals nobody asked for. Yay. I Know What You Did Last Summer and Smurfs. And let me talk, I am excited about talking about Smurfs. Not because I think it's good. Oh, hell no. I've been waiting for a long time to really tear into a movie, a real shit movie. I've been waiting for the opportunity and now I have it. So yeah, I can't wait to make that video. But first, I got to get through I Know What You Did Last Summer first, and that's just boring. So yeah, stay tuned for those videos. But yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. You want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage, all previous prediction videos I made this year, the past few years. You want to watch any of them? Go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. I did the June recap very recently on the channel. July recap, that should be the second weekend of August. Same weekend as a Freakier Friday and Weapons. So stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to, where I went over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. Never talked about Eddington during that series, but I've made 250 episodes, so if you want to binge watch that series from beginning to end, I highly suggest you do that, so go do it. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.